All right, I think we're live. Sorry about that, folks. I am just getting my general ass kicked here, so going as fast as I can. But everything is live. We're just kind of making sure before I send out the URL for you that that's gonna be good for you. So just checking the last stuff. I always wondered why these things got delayed. Like, man, why don't they fucking do this or that? But it's like at the last minute, there's always 10 or 15 things to figure out. So thank you guys for hanging out and yeah, being cool. Yeah, let's get those NFTs. All right, so I'm just checking. So what I'm doing when you see me kind of looking all over the screen right now is I'm talking to the folks at ShuffleDAO over on Discord. We're just making sure the last stuff is going. The NFTs are ready to launch. I'll drop the link here in a second. And I'll do it over on Twitter. What we're doing is making sure that once you get them, you can get access to the courses and the crew. And that's kind of the sticky part right now. So, yeah, just reading their stuff, my stuff. Did I drop one already? I'm not even, I had this thing up. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, and just immediately so flustered that I managed to blow that. Well, I'm glad no one took that bet. I'm going to keep my main for now. So just bear with me. This is the inside of a little NFT launch. So yeah, we're just fiddling. Yeah, I'm just looking and seeing on OpenSea. We're just kind of making sure that I'm getting what I'm supposed to be getting. Making sure that the magic works. I think we're pretty close to okay. All right, I'll see if I can get a couple of the ShuffleDAO crew in here. And then we will we'll go from there. All right. And I'm just checking with them to make sure that this is, I'm sorry guys, this kind of it's kind of boring right now, but I guess this is what it looks like 3 people running around with their get things sorted out. Okay, last little check here, and then we will fire this thing up. Pretty exciting. Seeing if I can see you guys in the comments. Yeah, this is probably the most boring thing that you'll watch for a little while, and you miss like the meltdown. The funny thing was, let's see, should I start, man? Okay. So I'm getting some questions here on the ShuffleDAO side, but I think we are it said we're good to mint. So let me drop the link in the chat. You guys, I'm assuming there's a couple folks on here. I can see this. I don't know how many, if I can see how many people are in the stream. I do know how to ban people though. I figured that out from last time. Let's see. All right, so let's see. And then we got, I think, Chris coming on from ShuffleDAO to cruise in. Yeah, and I'll get those guys in a second. Oh, they're saying 1 second. Here it comes. You guys are in the chat, and I'm assuming you can still hear me, that I didn't break anything in the meantime. Okay. I'm gonna drop this thing in I don't know, 10 seconds. I'll put this in the chat, and it'll also go over onto the tweeters, and we'll see how that whole thing goes. Yeah. I'm just setting this up over on Twitter, and then we'll be good. And when those guys come on, then we can talk about how I was frantic the whole time for the past hour and almost missed my little bathroom break. Needed to go pop pop. All right, so the URL is in the chat, nft.gristleking.com. You should be able to go there and mint that thing. It is also over on the Twitters. So that's should be good. I don't see how anything could possibly go wrong from here. If you guys are having problems with that, drop it in the chat and let me know, and we'll sort it out. So I've got my NFT launch calendar reminder as 25 minutes ago. So they say if you wait to the last minute, it only takes a minute. In this case, it took an extra 25 minutes, but cool. Right on. You guys are still there. Andrew, good to see you. You're seeing, oh, you're still seeing Marvel back there? Little Marv's doing his thing. So the steps here are you can get the NFT, and then what should happen from there is as long as you're holding the NFT, you'll see the coupon codes to purchase the Gristle King courses and also to get the Gristle Crew membership. And you'll have to be holding the NFT and use those coupons to get those courses. So basically, it's kind of like checking out without using your credit card. You just use the NFT and those coupons, and the combination of NFT and those coupons is what allows you to get those things. Am I sure that URL is right? I'm pretty sure. Is it not working? That's hilarious if it's not working. Let me check. It was working for me, so I'll just take a look there. Yeah, nft.gristleking.com is what I'm seeing. And I'll double. There's a whole thing, so the HTTPS, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that was the issue. Let me know if you don't see that, but you should see it. And in fact, I think I can share my screen on this. Oh, it's not working there either. Okay. So I'm just checking with those guys on Discord. What are you guys seeing? Just like a 404, some kind of crazy error? Ah, there we go. Dr. Doofus is here. He's one of the heads over at ShuffleDAO. So it's just getting updated. There's plenty of time. This is not. I don't think this is one of those things going to mint out in like 4 seconds. I think you guys got plenty of time. But thank you guys for coming on and checking it out. Ah, the mint wasn't enabled, and we just enabled it. So try refreshing and then cruising on and see what happens. I see that 729 of them are remaining, which, as far as I can tell, means that the initial 20 that went out to me and the ShuffleDAO folks are what has been minted. And then I don't know if I need to refresh it or see the rest of it. But yeah, let me know. In fact, let me know the first person that kind of sees it. Let me know if you're seeing it as well. And for you whitelist guys, here's the cool thing: is I'm just going to airdrop the units to you. So it will. I don't know how long that will take, but you're just going to get them for free. So I had a couple people on the whitelist, a couple people kind of go through that stuff and sort it out. If you're on the whitelist, and you will 100% know that because we've had that whitelist channel in Discord, that I'm just going to airdrop the NFTs to you. So whatever you buy is extra. If you want to buy extra, you don't have to. But I think the people who gave me their whitelist address in Discord, I'm going to airdrop it to you, which is kind of cool. So Muddy Creek. As long as you're, I don't know if like Money Creek Critters who that is over on Discord, but if you're on the Discord during the whitelist channel, you're good. Okay. They're asking me in Discord what's going on. What when you guys are going to the nft.gristleking.com, what are you seeing? We'll see, because let's see if Rask, yep, I got you, dog. It is inbound for you. Well, it's not inbound right now, but it will be inbound for you. Let's see what I need to do here, and if I can share. Yeah, you guys can see that. And I'm not sure if I can make it so that you just see this tab, which is probably the best thing. Yeah, this is what you should see when you go to the nft.gristleking.com. So sweet. And it could be a DNS propagation issue. So yeah, it's one of those things where we just put that in. So if I'm understanding it right, is that we had to have the contract kind of live before we could do the NFT gristleking.com, and then one thing leads to another, and it takes a hot minute. But I'm seeing it on my end. I'm wondering if you do like a hard refresh and see it, or I can give you this alternate. I'll drop this in the chat as well. And let me know if you can't see the nft.gristleking.com. Let me know if you can see that new link that is now in the chat. I better check on Twitter and see if anyone is having the same problems. I'm assuming that those problems are semi-universal. Okay. And yeah, that second one looks janky as far as a link, but it should go to the correct place. So the way that stuff works, and this is kind of, I don't know, semi-interesting, is, let's see, this is not what I wanted to do. I think this is where we want it to be. Yeah. And I think I'm sharing that with you guys. Yep. I'll go back to the camera stuff. Yeah, this is like background stuff that if you've ever done anything in the internet, you know this, but if you haven't, if all you've done is like visited websites, is you've got the website and then where basically the internet tells people to go to when they type in your website. And so what we did is we've got the site itself, which is the Mint site, which is the one that you're just seeing. And then we had to point nft.gristleking.com to that site. So it's kind of a little bit of a redirect action. So that's what's going on there. Let me know if you guys are having problems seeing that stuff. And then we should have Chris on. What's up, dog? Can you hear me now? I can't hear you yet, but it's entirely possible that I should put my headphones in.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you 5x5. Sometimes if I don't have my headphones in, there'll be an echo on the far side. Dude, that's been exciting this morning. Jesus.
Exciting is one word for it.
Yeah.
It has been exciting. It's been a bit more of a crunch than I hoped, but yeah, it happened.
Yeah,
we're minting.
It appears to be working, and Scotty says the new link worked. Right on, dog. Scotty, are you the first one to get a G-Unit? I hope so. That would be rad. I should have done something fun, I should have done something cool. I got my no cursing thing up, and I just
you just failed.
Oh man, I apparently within like 10 seconds I blew it. So I'm glad
it's over.
I'm glad that I put out a bet or put out a wager saying, I'm plugging my headphones, saying to folks, hey, if they wanted to take the wager, I would shave my head if I dropped an F-bomb, but the wager was that they had to shave their head if I didn't drop an F-bomb. So
I guess you're shaving your head?
No, nobody took the wager.
Oh.
Which is great. Cool. All right.
It's a little annoying that the DNS propagation is taking so long for some folks. I hate exposing a Vercel endpoint. It looks so janky, but it works.
Okay, and you're cool. I'll put that over in the tweet thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. In the tweet thing.
In the tweet thing. That was like when I was on the YouTube earlier today.
On the YouTubes. Okay. I'm just typing this in over Twitter. If the NFT.gristleking. All right, alternate is here. Cool. All right, that was exciting. So there's a ton of stuff that we knocked out this morning that I'd always been on the other side of these NFT launches. And I'm always wondering, why are they 10 minutes late? What's going on? I was here on time. Why aren't they on time? And now I'm realizing on my end is that there's 900 things that come up at the last second. And you just, I guess unless you're launching NFTs all the time, there isn't a checklist for this. I think we all thought this will be one or two things and we'll be done.
Yeah, and I actually have a checklist. But no. This release, it was very freeform, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It was let's do it in a week. And I'm okay, I think we can do that.
Yeah.
But and it does always seem simpler than it's going to be, right? So like the thing that I was thinking about this morning is like we need to make a sheet with the specs for like what we want for the OpenSea page, because
Yep.
like after we did the mint for you and us, um, I realized, oh crap, like we need a banner, we need the little feature image.
Yep.
Like that's something that's going on the checklist now
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
easy to miss.
It's all the last minute stuff for sure. Um, let's talk about this airdrop thing. I'm hoping if yeah, whatever promise I made, I'm certainly keeping it. But the idea was that when we first put out the whitelist piece, we weren't sure how many people were going to do it. It ended up being a pretty small number of people who wanted to do it. And the whitelist I thought was a pretty good deal. It was basically half off. So instead of a 0.1 mint, it was 0.05. And but for whatever reason, people just didn't do it. Only got a couple in there. So I think you had said, hey, what was it? Some Merkle tree thing
Mm-hmm.
makes it.
For the whitelist mint,
Yep.
it just for 3 people,
Yeah.
like I basically said, hey, why don't you airdrop them just
Yeah.
for free to those 3 people? And
Yep.
you were like, that's a great idea. We do all of the code and logic is in place for further whitelisting. So if for some reason you need to do a promo or you want to, say if you buy a subscription here or some merch, we'll let you mint a G-Unit for cheap. Like we can compile and update them dynamically for you pretty much.
Okay.
But for 3 people, like they now benefit, right?
Yeah.
And it's something nice to do.
Oh, it might be 4 people. The big time. We
It
went
might
up
be
by
4 people.
25%. Yeah.
Okay, well, still, like those
Yeah.
4 people, and like the list is closed. If anyone's listening,
Yep.
don't think you can now be like, oh, I want my free G-Unit.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I put it out there, and I don't know. This whole like internet community thing is interesting. Is that we all think we're the center of the world, and then at the end of the day, it's like, it turns out maybe you're not. Maybe there's other people with other problems and other interests.
Well, it's easy to miss too. Like we
Yeah.
get so many whitelists over on our Discord, and I get a lot, and I end up forgetting
Yeah.
um, a
Yeah,
ton.
especially if they don't have specific value for you, it's easier because I see the same thing on both the Crypto Hoots Discord, the ShuffleDAO Discord, and then there's another one that I like, 8.1, where they're just getting whitelists all the time, and I just kind of got lost.
Yeah, and with the market kind of, it was for a while. Like if you got a whitelist, like
Oh,
you
you
could almost guarantee yourself profit. It might
Yeah.
not be a ton of profit, but you could always flip it for a little bit more. And now that's not so much the case.
Yeah. Yep. No, it's
But this isn't a flipping NFT.
uh-uh. No, and right now, like when we first put this together, 0.1 ETH was whatever, $320, and the value of the courses and the crew was 250, and I was just like, that's close enough. You're getting more than you normally get with the other NFT stuff that I've seen. But with ETH dropping down to 2,000, it's like you're actually getting $50 off if you bought everything, so it's a good deal.
It's true. You're right. And I look at it like you are basically speculating on ETH, or you have a positive outlook on ETH, which I do as well, right? And so I tend not to think too much about the dollar value because I personally think that ETH is going well above 3,000 eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's I think so too. I think so too. I mean, it's an interesting thing because you kind of, yeah, it's a total speculation piece, right? And I'm also asking people to speculate on behalf of this NFT where you're saying like, yeah, I'll pay what is less now, and maybe give up what is more later. So
Yeah, which many of us have done in spending crypto through the years.
yeah, yeah,
So much crypto
I put a roof
spent.
on my house when ETH was $17 and I bought it at 2, and I was like, dude, I am the smartest person on the planet. And it
Yeah.
turns out that was not the smartest move that you could have made.
A roof's worth of ETH when it was $17 is a lot of ETH. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that's like
Yeah.
a house.
Yeah, it's
No,
okay. We've all done that. The smart play is you just replace it. So
Yeah,
if I were to spend a little bit of ETH today, I would buy it to like cover the costs a lot of the time. Now that I make my living in ETH, though, it's like the opposite. Is I have to think about actually selling it, or else I'll starve to death.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've got a question about how you. So, are you doing? Is ShuffleDAO your full time thing, or is there other ways that you make? Like, how do you make a living?
Yeah, so ShuffleDAO is my full-time thing. I've advised for a handful of other projects. Like
Hmm.
I'm an advisor on a couple right now, or at least one, and that doesn't really pay the bills. Um,
Yep.
but ShuffleDAO is my full-time gig. Uh,
And
so
it's super cool. I mean, the other piece, there's like so many cool parts to it, but the part that I saw was that it's really an enabling platform for people like me. Like, I'm not technical. You guys handheld my thing through the whole thing. Like, we went from, hey, I've got this art. Like, what do I, and I want to do an NFT and I want to make it so that NFT has value to people beyond the art. How do I do it? And you guys just walked me through the whole thing. It was just like, oh, here's how to use the shufflement tool. Here's how to create all these different NFTs. And then, I was thinking, I was like, oh, I'll just be like I'll push a button, but there's many, many buttons to push and many, many sequences.
yeah, we pushed a lot of buttons behind the scenes too to get everything in place. Like, there's NFTs are just a ton of little things that all
Yeah.
have to come together to work.
Yep.
So like even something as simple as the metadata, or essentially like when you mint a token and you look at it on OpenSea, right? The image as well as the traits are stored in like this JSON file. And there's a lot of ways to store those, but
Yeah.
one of the biggest things for a release like yours, and where I think there's going to be sustained mint over a period of time, is that you don't want to expose all of the metadata of things that haven't been minted. And so if you were to
Yeah.
just dump it on IPFS and and someone could just like iterate through the list of JSON files, they could see every G unit. So like setting up an API that essentially looks at the smart contract, queries if a token's been minted, and if it has, return the metadata, and if it hasn't, just say no.
Yep.
Like that's a little piece, but it matters, and that's the kind of stuff that is easy to miss.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so like we
Totally.
set all of that up for you.
Yeah. It's amazing how much does get set up in the background where there's so many things to think about. And even as something as big as WordPress, which is what the Gristle King site is built on, and has the MetaPress plugin, which makes it easier, there is still a ton of different options and like ways to go through that stuff. So I was amazed
Yeah,
at yeah, how much is on there.
I'm I'm happy we had Dr. Doofus to help you with that because I know nothing about WordPress.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, it was funny because Dr. Doofus and I were just both going through. It's like, and it'd been a while since I built a new course and membership, and what we had to do is build a special membership just for the G-Unit holders. And both of us are just kind of laughing like, oh, it's been a hot minute since I've been in this thing.
Yeah,
So
it's the type of thing where once it's set up, you probably don't touch it very much.
yeah, yeah. No, I go in there and I write posts, and that's about it. It's just, I think that's going in like trying to add value and not like tweaking this or that.
Right.
But yeah, and then you go back and you do something you did a while ago, and it's like, oh yeah, this is how this or that works. So
Yeah, which is. I'm glad that it. I'm glad that it was able, like, we were able to do that without having to get crazy and like set it up behind some kind of third party website or something that we had to build ourselves.
yeah,
It's nice to see more Web3 integration. So like WordPress adding the ability to do Web3 like auth,
yep,
or sign in, even though this is off because it has to look at your wallet to see if you have the specific NFT, is really great for adoption in general because so many WordPress sites are out there and so many people use it as their platform.
yeah, yeah. I see Joe on here asking if I dropped an F bomb. Like, yeah, I'm probably in the first like 7 seconds, dude. I was so flustered trying to get this thing out. I just completely forgot my no cursing piece. Is
It
helium
didn't
going to be
last.
good?
Go No, I was just saying your bet didn't last long.
No, no, no. Someone should have taken it. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time I've shaved my head, but yeah. Kaiser Soza, is helium going to be discussed? Probably not a ton on this one. On this cast, this is all about the NFT side. So the NFT does give you access to certainly to discussing helium over on the Gristle crew and getting access to the courses. But for this kind of specific stream, I wanted people to see what it was like to launch an NFT, and what I underestimated by a long shot was how much was going on. Like, I don't think I could have done this and done all the stuff we did from more or less like 6:40 this morning until 10 a.m. my time, which is a little bit later for you, but yeah.
Yeah, thankfully. And we were up late. Like DevBerry was doing stuff at like 3 a.m. I saw. So
It's
yeah,
it's amazing. I mean, it also brings up this idea that behind the world that most of us interact with, behind iPhones and connecting to a website and doing those things that it seems like we have the right to do, is that there's a ton of people working super hard to make sure all of those things work.
Yeah, it's true. There's like the joke of like if every engineer took lunch at the same time, like the world would crumble.
The world would
You
break.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Totally.
and that's relatively true. And it's funny that like the way my job works hasn't changed much going from like a traditional tech job
Yep.
to ShuffleDAO work. I mean, what we're doing is different, but like the same feelings of crunch and like that mad dash when something doesn't work quite right.
Yeah.
It's the same everywhere, and like we try and be so proactive. And every time we do something like this, we have more notes for like the next time
Yeah.
to try and streamline it even more.
Yeah.
And thank God that we have a bunch of people. Like it's not just like we've grown our team quite a bit, and like thankfully the everyone is really on board, and they like our ShuffleDAO ecosystem because like you touched on how it's a platform for people like you to make content or
Yeah.
release NFTs,
Yeah.
but it's also a platform for developers and artists to work on them, not in a bubble essentially, or not in a vacuum. They can work with us and really with each other because there's no real hierarchy. I mean, yeah, like me and a couple other people, like myself and Silence and RPL started it,
Yeah.
but at this point, being a flat structured DAO, outside of a handful of internal committees for things like treasury management and project review, which we can't have a public vote on every project that approaches us because
Right.
like a lot of projects can't share that information. Like they don't want us to say, here's all the details of an unreleased NFT.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
than that, like everyone that works with the DAO, I mean, it's a flat structure, which is
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Oh, that's super cool. I mean, it's I felt like a rock star when I had, because you guys, I'm sure you did this for everyone, but you had made a Gristle King, I don't know if it's a category or channel inside
Channel.
inside the ShuffleDAO Discord. And I started talking to all the people that I'd seen in the chat, as long as I've been following Crypto, it's like, oh my God, this person's in here too. This person's in here too. It's funny because we all go around thinking that we're normal people, but to someone else, we can be super important, and it's nice when you feel that you're surrounded by folks who are competent and helping you out. It's really nice.
Yeah, like all of a sudden the discussion focuses on you and your needs, right? And that's always good.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, super
it
cool.
makes it a lot more tangible.
So I just saw one of it's like a radio show. One of my very special friends, actually the guy who helped me get into helium, Bubs Naturals is the handle over on the YouTube thing. TJ just jumped on here and said thanks for the launch, and I just wanted to kind of public shout out to TJ. Thank you for getting me into helium and making it super easy to do my first DIY and to hike all this stuff in the mountains. And then I see that even though I told him, I was like, hey, I'm going to airdrop you some of this stuff, it looks like he bought a couple. So rock on.
Thanks, TJ.
Yep. Yeah. All right. And then I see from TJ and from Edward Campbell in the chat, what URL can we connect to see which NFTs we received? Like, I think what was it like?
So
Go ahead.
if you go to OpenSea and connect to your profile or Looks Rare,
Mm-hmm.
you should be able to see them. So if you've never bought an NFT before, but thank you for buying one, and I hope you enjoy the journey you're taking.
Yeah.
But go to OpenSea and you can you sign in with your wallet and you go to your profile and you will see the NFTs in your wallet.
Okay. Cool. And that's the way to do it. And that was the other thing that we wanted to do here, was to make it easy for people to have an entry into NFTs without like a big potential of getting like, just being left with a JPEG and nothing else. So
Yeah,
cool.
I love that, and that's why we really liked this project, because it's small and it has a use and the art is kind of hilarious. Um,
Yeah.
it checks a lot of boxes.
Yeah. And you can't pick them, right? We made it random.
It's truly random, correct.
So you might get a pancake hat, you might not. Now, I think, so the way we did it is we dropped like 10 or 15 to me, and you guys got 5. So that was the first
Correct.
20. And out of those 15, I think the other thing I'll do for the folks who had signed up for the whitelist is if you want, I think TJ's like, I want a pancake hat. If you want something, I think I can see mine and I can send them to you. So if you want something specific, let me know and I'll sort through what I got and get it to you.
And you can see, once an NFT is minted, you can go to the collection page, which you have, Nick. It's like OpenSea. We can put it in the chat if you want.
Yeah.
OpenSea.io collection/G-Units.
Okay.
And that shows up. Yeah, G-Units. I'm glad that was available, to be honest.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ed Campbell's G-Unit 23. Right on, dog. You can see them. Which ones did you get? I'll have to go look them up and see which ones you did.
Yeah. You can like spy on people.
Yeah, no, it's. I think so. Let's see. The other thing to talk through, and I hit it a little bit earlier, but for folks who are just coming in, oh, nice, dude, you got 23 and 24, Edward. Thanks, dude. Is now the progression for you've got the NFT in your wallet. How do you get access to the courses and to the crew? And it should be you keep that same wallet connected. You connect it to you go to gristleking.com, and then. How do we do it from there? They just go and buy a course, or was there a link to go to? I should probably know this. It's like we're both looking.
You set it up.
Yeah. No, I set it up. It's like it's in there somewhere.
This is the one piece I didn't touch, I will admit. So
yeah.
There's a way, and then we'll set up Collabland probably after this call, or whenever you want, and create a special role for G-Unit holders, and you give them whatever access you want.
Cool. Yep, which will be for the holder stuff. All right. So I think, and Dr. Doofus, did we do this on, was it like the NFT checkout page, or was it the NFT holder benefits page that we set this thing up? Because I should probably drop that in the link and then make that super clear for people. I'll probably update the blog post that's got the NFTs on it so that it's got all these links to it.
Yeah, we should do that. You can also do it in the Discord and stuff.
So many things to do. I gotta write this stuff down on pen and paper because it's like the easiest way to.
I might say that you are maybe the least. I don't want to say least organized,
probably.
But we'll say the most laid back project creator that we have.
That's what we used to call a complisalt.
Yeah. You're like, that's fine, whatever.
Yeah. But I think, to me, that's part of this. And it goes back to that thing that if you're in project management and you're an engineer and that's what you do, like there is just a method of achieving things over and over and over. And it's that list of things. But if you're not, and I'm not a project manager, I'm not an engineer, is just not having that. And being, as you said, I like the compliment part, like the free form laid back piece. But there's also pieces like, oh man, I didn't do this on the, didn't add this to the blog and haven't had these instructions yet and the rest of it. So.
Yeah. And that's, like you said, there's pros and minuses, or there's, pluses and minuses, because I liked the free form. It's just, we're going to have little things that we're doing throughout the next few hours, and that's okay. Like some other projects that we work with, they're going to present like a full Figma board with like exactly how they want the website to look, and these are the exact timelines for when we start hitting things, and that's okay too. It's just good to be able to work with both kinds of groups.
Yep. So we'll do, I'm making notes here, so add links to the G-Unit blog. So we're going to put let's see, how to claim your stuff.
Yep, the OpenSea collection, the Looks Rare collection,
link to
mint page, and this should all go in the Discord too, because not that I think you're going to get like another collection trying to scam.
Yeah.
But it does happen. Like it happened to us a lot at first, where people make copycat collections, and so having all of the official links in one spot is good.
Yep.
And like we have both of your pages set up. Like it took a little, we made sure that we set up OpenSea well with you, and like Looks Rare, and set up like the creator royalties and things like that.
Yep.
Which are very low.
Yeah, it was a 2.5% or something.
2.5%. Yep.
So super, and that means for folks who are kind of brand new to NFTs, is that and Christopher, I saw you just got here. There's the link for you for right now. if the NFT gets resold, 2.5% of that goes to Gristle King. So if you sell your NFT for 1,000,000 ETH someday, it will. It may or may not buy me a new Toyota Tacoma.
Yeah, and that's pretty like almost every collection does that. A lot of them do more like 5%. That's maybe the standard.
Okay.
Um,
I should have leveled up. That's just
no, it's okay. I
yeah.
think.
No, I
Well, you
did.
see,
Good.
OpenSea charges 2.5% too
Yeah.
themselves. So now you're at 5% total, which I think is a good amount.
Which is legit. Yeah. And I
Yeah, you could have.
sure it's yeah. I think you can always kind of take a piece, and to me, like taking that piece was more important to experience it from like what is that like, and then hopefully shining the light for other people to do the same thing, and then help make them make a good decision for them, than it is making extra ETH. Right? It's always nice to have a little bit of extra, but I don't see that being something. I could be totally wrong. I don't see that the 2.5% is going to be something that puts us on Maui.
It takes a while to add up. Like, just remember, 1,000 ETH in volume on OpenSea gives you 25 ETH,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of volume.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're
And you probably, I mean, I guess you could do that if for some reason the GK NFT goes crazy, but very unlikely.
Yeah, like if you're Bored Apes or something and you have like 100,000 ETH in volume,
Yeah.
that 2.5% is real nice.
Yeah.
But for most people, maybe it's an ETH, maybe it's a handful of ETH,
It's a
which is
little.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think it really comes, I mean, it comes down to a bunch of different things, but I think the push with Gristle King is to do things that may be too costly or too much time or energy for the average person to consider doing on their own, and then to blaze a path and say, look, I'm going to try and take as many of the obstacles on me, and I'll figure them out, and I'll take those hits and then pass that on to as many people want to learn it, and they can learn from those mistakes. And hopefully you don't make too many mistakes, but you make those mistakes public so that people don't have to make the same thing twice. And that's the aim.
yeah, and I think you're accomplishing that.
Well, I'm certainly making the mistake side.
You haven't made many mistakes. Like so far, we haven't made any big mistakes, so
Yeah, yeah.
that's good. The
Knock
most
on wood.
important thing to get right is the smart contracts, of course, because
Yeah.
like once people start minting, if there are mistakes, like you can't really undo them very easily.
Right. Right. There's one nuclear thing that you guys are like, hey, if everything goes wrong, we can do this. But beyond that, like
Yeah,
we got what we got.
right. And like we've seen that. There was a contract, I don't know, maybe a month ago where they had an issue with their withdrawal and someone noticed it. There was like basically someone was able to exploit the contract, but not in a way that let them steal the ETH, but was in a way that that essentially made it so that no one could withdraw it. So
Huh.
it was extremely malicious because no one even profited. All that person did was ensure the team couldn't pay themselves, and it was like 10,000 ETH. It was an extremely large collection and very
Jeez.
expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The E thing is funny. I mean, I had that scam that I fell for, and that was a ton of ETH. And I literally called the FBI last night. So I've called them I put in a IC3 is what the report is called, when you get scammed on the internet and you submit that to the FBI so they can hopefully investigate it. And that
I
was like
hope
a
so,
week
man.
ago. And I hadn't heard anything back. And I'm like, I'll just call them. So I called the local office, and you get patched through like this long phone tree. And I should have, the FBI recorded this call. So maybe I can get some public record of it. But I should have recorded because I'm talking to the guy. I'm like, hey, I just got scammed out of 18 Ethereum, which is a cryptocurrency. He's like, could you tell me what Ethereum is? I've never heard of it.
Oh,
And I was like, huh, I don't think I'm talking to the right person.
no.
You
What
know?
really sucks is you can't write that off on your taxes. As
Uh,
someone that was scammed
yeah,
for
a significant
some
amount.
like essentially about the same amount of ETH in value of one was an NFT and one was an ETH, slightly different method,
Yep.
approval based or approval based scams. But essentially, I looked into it this year, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I had to pay the IRS, and it turns out that theft in that way is not something that you can deduct against gains in any form. So it just there's not. I don't get. I can mark it as stolen, so I don't have to pay capital gains, because it looks like you sold it, right?
Yep.
It looks like you sent it off, but
Yep.
other than that, there's no upside, which really sucks.
No, although we'll have to double check on that because I've got a couple guys who are way into the tax side on the Gristle crew, and we've been talking on a separate email about how you can do that. And there's like 3 things that you can do. None of them look very promising, but it seems like maybe there's one that you can put out there. And if I'm getting it right, as long as you're making kind of reasonable assessments, the IRS might just be like, yeah, sure, do whatever you want, because we don't have super clear guidance on it. But right now, yeah, it doesn't look super promising. There's not like
It's not. Yeah, you would think it would be very clear cut. But your reasonable assessments are extremely easy to make because you can look at the transaction on Etherscan of when it was taken out of your wallet, and it gives you a value at the moment right there.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's the wild thing is it's all on the blockchain, right? As I can see, this person who stole, of one of the many NFTs they took was paleotreats.eth, which is Paleotreats is my other company. Like I can see it on OpenSea. I can see it in their wallet. It's like, that's mine. And that's the weird thing about theft on, in this NFT kind of crypto world is you can see where
Did you report it to OpenSea?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they'll at least prevent you from being able to trade it on there, or them from being able to trade it.
Yep. And I don't remember if they said they could freeze the account or not. Actually, no, they can't freeze that other person's account, but they can freeze mine from losing any more, which is...
Yeah, and they usually nuke the profile of the other account. Of course, the NFTs themselves are tokens, right, that exist in an Ethereum wallet.
Yeah.
So there's no way to actually prevent a user from transferring them or selling them somewhere else.
Yep.
But OpenSea is a centralized platform, and so they're able to essentially blacklist things. But what ends up happening is, like, so for me, I lost a Cyber Kong, a baby Kong, to theft, and it was worth, I think, 7 ETH at the time. And they immediately just sold it on LooksRare, which has less controls right now. It's more decentralized. And that was that. Even though it was blacklisted on OpenSea, like it doesn't matter, you know?
Yeah. Now I've been thinking about just buying Paleotreats.eth back. I don't think they have it for sale, but if they have it at some reasonable amount, it's like, all right, well, it's terrible because like you stole my money and now I'm going to pay you to give me my thing back that you stole.
It's extortion. I can't believe they stole your ENS.
Yeah, they got that one. They didn't get the other ones, but they got that one. They got one fast.
I guess it seems valuable.
Yeah, it's like thank God they didn't take CrystalKing.eth. I thought they did, and I was like, gosh darn it. But nope, they went for Paleotreats. I see TJ's on there saying call Eric Neem. Yeah, Eric's super good. So if you guys want to Google him and check him out for tax stuff and crypto tax stuff, he is a wizard.
That would be great because this year was pretty rough on me, tax wise.
Yeah, this last year was. I mean, that was one thing I saw in the crew is that some folks made a ton of HNT, and they're just getting hosed because they didn't sell it, but you're taxed on the value of the HNT when it's created, and that's a really difficult thing. So they owe, in some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars on dollars they never received into their account.
I think that highlights why it's important to sell at the time that you receive funds. Not that I'm perfect with it, but like, let's say this release sells out very quickly, right?
Yep.
It probably makes sense to sell at least 20 or 30% of it to stablecoins right away. And then you have your taxes covered. Of course, you can gamble. Like ETH is going to, if I do that, ETH will be $10,000 by next year, and think about the gains.
Yep.
But there's definitely something for hedging a little bit there.
Yeah. It's I am so on the side of like, nope, I will sell it when it goes up. I'll wait till the last minute. But yeah, it's certainly a risk because you can get stuck. I got dinged on the HNT that I earned last year, so wrestling with that as well.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Dog. Well, I think we're probably best off closing this out. I think folks have gotten to see what they what I thought was the important piece, which is like the stress and crazy part of the first piece, the explanation why it's a little bit late and what's going on and how to claim stuff and what's next. And then from here, I'll just keep you guys posted on Discord and Twitter as to what we're doing.
All right, let's set up Collab Land when we get off the stream.
Cool.
So that people can get the roles.
Yeah, love it. I will.
Awesome.
I will see you over in Discord. Thanks, Dog. Super psyched, and thanks so much for those of you who came on and supported this thing and got a couple NFTs. And I'll get the folks who signed up for the whitelist, get them their airdrops, and yeah, super pumped to have done this stuff and got it crushing.
All right.
All right. See you, Chris.
See ya.